Welcome back to Equity TV. I'm Francis Mayer, and you are about to be hit with another case of good news. Here on Equity TV, we tell success stories and we talk to fun and exciting people who are making positive changes in their life with the help of Bakersfield College. Right now, we're going to check in with
Emijah Calvin.
Thank you. And you are a singing cowboy, and you are not from Bakersfield. But you've hit Bakersfield with authority, I would say. You've gained some traction.
Yes, I came here and, I have a similar personality to Bakersfield, that drive, that just, that workman's attitude that a lot of people here have. So I seem to fit in pretty good here.
Right, and you also have taken some pretty radical steps to earn the cowboy status. Did you ride some animals for a little while? Tell us about that.
I went out there and there's a couple places, like people don't know this, but in Crenshaw, California, there are some
Crenshaw?
Yeah, in Crenshaw, like in Crenshaw Boulevard and like Compton, California.
Like Menace to Society.
Yeah, like those areas. There are actually cowboys out there. There are actually people who don't want to be affiliated with the bad stuff happening out there, and they've actually turned to bull riding thanks to a guy named Charlie Sampson, who was the first black guy to ever win a bull riding championship.
I actually know about this because I'm a big PBR fan.
Yeah, so you know who Charlie Sampson is.
I've heard of Charlie Sampson, yes.
And, so I met a couple of those guys, and then we went out to Miraloma. And the Miraloma is a place where you can go out there and train for the PRCA. So I've been out there. I've been riding a bull a few times and trying it out and seeing if it was my thing. I mean, I'm not consistent at it, but it's something that I love to do. Like I dream about it and I enjoy it.
But it's a devotion. Like just to digress into bull riding for a minute. I got assigned to that on a lark. Somebody called in sick early on in my freelance riding career, and they asked if I wanted to go cover this event at the PBR, and I did, and it was amazing. But you hear the bull riders, and you watch them, and they kind of shadow box backstage before they get on, and they know the bull, they've heard of the bull, and they'll talk to each other, and they'll be like, oh, he's going to feather right twice, and then he does a roll, he's going to body roll on you, and then he'll buck for a good 5 seconds.
Yeah, they'll let you know if he's going to spin out or if he's going to kick his back legs up.
Yes.
So you kind of have, because you want to, the positions is 1 and 2.
Right, but this is not a casual pursuit.
No, it's not, but it is like, to me, it's a rhythm thing.
Yes.
Riding a bull, and, for me, I loved it so much. I even went to Brazil and lived there and got a chance to meet some of the best riders in the world are from Brazil. Some of the best bull riders in the world are from Brazil.
Yes, that's very true.
And I had a chance to go down there and meet some of these guys and actually see how they train, which is pretty much, it's like old school training, So, but they're devoted to the whole lifestyle too. There's a lot of cowboys and stuff like that. A lot of this lifestyle that we live, this ranch lifestyle, it exists over there.
Yes.
It exists out there.
Right.
That cowboy lifestyle exists in Brazil still. And
Brazil is
awesome.
Also famous for its beef. They have great
exactly.
beef. Yeah,
exactly. And so that was another thing that I got to do. And so all of that just kind of, it's something that I enjoy to do, something that I'll do for the rest of my life. I can't ride bulls all the time, but if I had the financial means to do so, I would be that guy. I would be the bull rider. I would be the dude,
because it is an expensive lifestyle.
It takes a lot of sacrifice too.
Oh no, it absolutely does.
Yeah.
They are all independent contractors, and this guy told me, he's like, I've won $450,000 this year, but it's cost him a lot of money. I mean, he has an RV. He brings his kids with him. They have a tutor. Not cheap.
To do it full time, and I think it's good to see, as America, we are the United States, where we are a multicultural nation,
right?
And I think it's good to see different cultures represented in the sport, So I enjoyed being out there and being a part of it because it just shows like that there's unity that's happening through, no matter what event it is. It just shows some diversity. So that was another thing I liked about it. I liked being a part of it because it just makes the event more diverse and shows that there's different people that like different things.
What are you getting at here?
Basically, just
that you were a black bull rider.
Yeah,
and that's
and
not
I wasn't
common.
the other one, but I wasn't the only one.
Right.
And I thought that was cool because it was so different from what we normally would see, what normally is presented out there. And so I was like, not only did I love it, but it was also causing some positivity. It was also changing perceptions. And so I loved it for that, And So it was like a win-win situation.
And you are an includer. You are a guy who likes to be involved with people. It's easy to talk to you, and you volunteer for things that require energy. But that almost makes what you're doing now a perfect fit. I mean, you went from being a combat medic, correct?
Yes.
And now you're coming back to school, and you tested out. Did you try out the bull riding and all that before you went into the Army, or was that after you got out?
That was after I got out of the Army.
Okay.
Because I had already had that I can do anything mentality that I got from the Army. Like I can like spit a bullet out. I can and like it'll come out like full speed. Like I felt dangerous, and I felt like I can do anything because of some of the things that I've done in the military. And bull riding just seemed to allow me to continue that adrenaline rush that you get from being a soldier.
Well, then I'll ask you the same question then. How do you make that transition to the classroom? Because it seems to me that it would be a little bit slower. I mean, you went from Army, combat medic, bull riding, and then how is that transition into the classroom?
The transition into the classroom from the military life has to deal with the one common factor that they have is success, is accomplishing something, is there's a goal. The same way in the military, you have an agenda, you have a itinerary, you have something that you have to get done. In school, same thing. You have a goal. There's a agenda in front of you. There's something that a task to accomplish, is the word I should say, from the military. So those two things go hand in hand. You have a goal, you have an outline, you have what you're supposed to do, and then you go out there and you perform. Same thing in the military. You get the training, you go ahead and do what you need to do, and you perform. So they fit hand in hand if you just keep the right perspective and understand the goal, to accomplish the goal, and
wow.
the work ethic.
You are an excuse smasher.
Yeah.
I mean, because you have, it sounds like, taken the best parts of your Army experience, even though they don't directly translate, and you have applied it to college.
And into life in general, because the biggest thing about what you do is that not only do you represent yourself, but you represent that whole entity. So being a veteran, there are certain things out there that other veterans are going through, or there's perception that people have of veterans or military people in general. And I would love to be one of those guys to kind of just, whatever those negative perceptions are, I would love to change those and say, okay, well, not all veterans are, think this way or think that way or this or that. Whatever a negative thing is, I'm a positive person, so whatever they would say probably wouldn't fit me. But I'm a veteran. And so therefore that refutes that whole argument that they have.
Sure.
So you can't say all. There would be no all.
Speaking in absolute terms is it can be a mistake.
Exactly.
I said can. I didn't say is.
No. Yes.
But we haven't even scratched the surface of what you're currently doing, but it kind of combines everything we've been talking about so far.
Yeah.
And that is you're entertaining people.
Yes, and as I'm sitting here right now and I'm looking at this sign behind you, and it says the Bakersfield, and it's got a picture of the Crystal Palace and Merle Haggard and Buck Owens there, and
strong country music
heritage, and
Nashville West,
yes, and for me, as a young person, I used to listen to different styles of music. I love all styles, but none of them really fit what I was, and then for a while, country music was like kind of like the old school stuff, and I liked it, but it didn't really, it was telling stories from like the 80s and 90s. But then like towards the 2001, 2002, 2003, country music started evolving a little bit, and it started telling stories that I was like, that sounds like me. That sounds like who I am. That sounds like how I lived in, growing up and being in Georgia and living on a farm, and working with my uncle and being a working man and driving a truck, that was me. And so from that point on, I identified myself and said, this is my music, because this is telling my story. And I just started listening to it, and I started falling in love with the stories. And then one day I thought, I have a story that no one's telling. So what if I start telling my story, or my perceptions, or my experiences in life that are similar to some of these, but yet a little different, Right. And that made me want to just start pursuing, like, trying to write songs, and it started out with just karaoke, and then someone gives you a compliment, say, hey man, you sang that well, and then you start practicing, and you start going home and start looking at yourself in the mirror, and you start recording yourself, and you say, I don't sound too bad. And then the more compliments you get, the more it gives you the encouragement to keep on going with it and keep trying it. So
Dude, I don't know. You should be a motivational speaker because right now I'm starting to wonder if the person I hear in the shower isn't capable of being a recording artist. You make it sound very easy.
You know
Calvin.
what? And it's all about. That's what it's all about. It's you don't know unless you try, and that's what I'm saying. If it's like if you don't try, you'll never know.
Emijah Calvin, we are lucky to have you at Bakersfield
Yeah.
College. Your positive energy is contagious. Real quick before the break ends, how do people find your music?
If you want to find my music, you just go on ahead and find me on Facebook at Cowboy Calvin. And also, you can find me on YouTube. Same thing, just YouTube, Cowboy Calvin. And you'll see a video that I shot here in Bakersfield. The entire video was shot here in Bakersfield. And it even shots out Bakersfield and the working people. And, it's my...
You do love your adopted town.
Yes, I do love this adopted town. And wherever I go, I want to represent Bakersfield. Let them know I was in Bakersfield, so... wherever I go, Cowboy Calvin was in Bakersfield, and he did get his associates from BC College. So,
Hey, we're gonna keep
know what
you.
I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. We're gonna keep you a little bit longer, Emijah.
right.
His
Thank
name
you.
is Cowboy Calvin. You can find him on YouTube or Facebook. Give him a listen today. His positive energy is not a front; it is real, and I love seeing the guy every time I come across him on campus. Coming up next in the show, Miles Post. Plus, a student mother who's also a student veteran. She has experience as a medic in the Air Force, and she'll tell you how they keep people plane shape, and airworthy. That's coming up next on Equity TV.